This event is transformative, and as with all transformative events, there is much more going on than what is seen on the surface. This event is highly symbolic, as are all events. The more you look beneath the surface, the more you discover about yourself, your purpose, your gifts, your challenges you are creating. And the more you learn about all of these, the better you are able to create the world, the entire world, in the image of your choosing. To truly benefit from this event, one has to look beneath the surface. Notice how in Earth terms this problem cannot be solved without going beneath the surface. Also notice that in order to really solve this problem, man is literally forced to go deep beneath the surface of the sea to the bottom of the ocean. Yet man can't just go to the bottom of the ocean to solve this. They have tried. They have tried to cap the well, and yet that still did not work. Thus man needs to go deeper to solve the problem. He must go even below the bottom of the sea. For the sea floor is the bottom of the ocean, yet it is the top of the next layer. It is just the beginning. We all agree that oil is leaking into your Gulf of Mexico, and is evident as streaks of crude floating on the surface. A well, which has been drilled by man, has taken a life on its own, and it's currently unstoppable. That is the situation as you know it. In Earth terms, the problem is that the oil reservoir is vast, one of the largest tapped by man. The drilling feat was beyond anything man attempted before, being in the deepest waters. The pressure from underneath is very much part of the problem, for even though the sea creates great pressure pushing downward, it is no match for the pressure within the oil reserve pushing upward, and thus the oil spews forth. So in Earth terms, the severity of the problem is caused by tremendous forces of pressure both with the Earth and within the ocean. Notice that the pressure of the ocean complicates all of man's efforts there. Yet this beneath the surface explanation is merely the earthly view. Politically, there is an entirely different perspective. This is where the bloggers, the conspiracy theorists, the writers, the politicians, and the businessmen come in. This is where the earth lovers and the money lovers clash head to head. Many are quick to blame someone else for this event. It is the greedy that are at fault. Man does not care about the earth, and this is why this has happened. If we weren't addicted to our oil, our cars, our luxuries, then this would never happen. The opinions fly, and no one agrees what the true cause of this event is. And yet all of that discussion is again hardly a fraction of an inch beneath the surface of the situation. Returning to the symbolism, fact is that which is seen on the surface of the ocean. It is what everyone can agree upon. No one is arguing that oil is leaking and floating on the surface. The discussion of cause and solution is symbolized by the water. In this case, the water is very deep. There is layer upon layer. There is current. There is weather. The water is alive, and we do not just mean the life within the water, there is that too. And so all of what man is talking about, thinking about, and feeling about this situation is symbolized by the vast water that is involved in this situation. And just as the waters of the Gulf ultimately connect to all of the waters of the globe, the discussions, feelings, and thoughts on this subject circumnavigate the globe and have the potential to affect a large percentage of it. Yet, as we said earlier, the bottom of the ocean is just the start of the next layer. Man didn't just go to the ocean floor in this pursuit. He drilled deep down below it. He tapped into something that could have remained dormant for centuries if left alone. It is here that we are most interested. It is here that you will find the answer to what you seek. For you are not merely looking for a solution. You are not looking for neutrality. You seek deep understanding. You are not even looking for cause as much as you are truly looking for the big picture. Yet cause is part of the big picture. We do not like that word cause. Instead, let's use the word creation. The creation of this event is significant to the journey. In Earth terms, man is, in his collective mind, dependent on oil. It is hard for man, the collective of man, to envision a life without oil. He can only see what came before oil, and this is not pleasing to him. Now, man's belief in the necessity of oil is, in and of itself, not a problem. But man also believes that resources, and thus oil, are limited. Man believes and talks of peak oil. This phrase is an indication of man's belief that all of the oil of the earth will be used up someday. Peak oil is the halfway point to the end of oil. As long as man believes in scarcity, man will manifest pursuit. A man who would pursue anything a mile under the surface of the ocean is a desperate man. If you peek beneath the surface, you can see how desperate man, collectively, is on this subject. And yet this is simply the manifestation of a broader belief. Man, collectively, believes in Armageddon. He believes in the end of Eden. He believes in hell, the possible and probable damnation after life. Man's thought about oil is symbolic to his thought about a whole host of things. All of those who focus on the possible catastrophic events of the imminent 2012 are contributing to the highlighting of this belief. They are adding pressure to the well, so to speak, with their thoughts and their attention. Again, there is no blame here. This is just an observation of the flow of thought, the flow of energy that creates manifested experience. All is well, and there is perfection in all of this. So man believes oil is necessary because man believes energy can only be pulled in from outside of himself. And man believes that oil, energy, is scarce and must be pursued. Again, oil is nothing different than water, love, food, and money. Man feels roughly the same about all of these things. And his basic thoughts are, I am separate. There is not enough. Thus, I must pursue, I must store, I must protect, and I must defend my peace. Greed is nothing more than fear, too. If you fear a limit to what is received, you become greedy, and no amount of storage is enough to squelch that fear. Please understand that collectives are collectives. Corporations and countries are collectives, and thus the fear of these collectives is an aggregate of what exists within the collective. It doesn't mean that everyone within the collective feels the same way. It just means the energy of the collective is collected, pooled, and evident. Your country, your beloved United States of America, is filled with this fear. You are very much within your own Four of Pentacles. You have created a lifestyle some refer to as the American dream. Yet you so fear the end of it that you fight for your freedom. You amass great armies to defend your way of life because you do not trust in your own power. You have created your own Eden. You are the creator of your own beauty, one way or the other. And yet you are also the creator of the expiration of every loved experience. You so believe that no dream can last forever, and thus you set yourself up for the end of those very same dreams you created. And again, we return to perfection. You are as you are, but you will not remain in these beliefs forever. You are evolving, individually and collectively. Awareness is the greatest contributor to evolution, and thus what is hidden deep within all manifestation must at some time be made known. So your pursuit of oil is also a symbol to your pursuit of love, understanding, wisdom, and enlightenment. You are willing to dive 1 mile beneath the surface of the ocean and then again drill further into the earth to understand who you are and what this life is all about. You will stop at nothing in your pursuit. We commend you, all of you, in this pursuit. You have no choice but to live within your beliefs. We do not fault you for not seeing to the core of the earth, for how could you? Gaia was very strong in telling you not to fear for her, not to cry for her. She knows. She offered her entire body to you the moment she agreed to be a planetary body that would be home to life. She has offered you her blood willingly. You as human beings, as human consciousness, are third density beings, and you came from second density. You cannot deny that you came from an existence of believed survival. You still carry that memory. You cannot remember your life before birth, and you cannot see your life after death, yet. And thus, you are where you are. There is no imperfection in this. This event is not a catastrophe in greater reality. Even the death of every living cell on the planet would not be. Life, true life, does not end, ever. It merely transforms. You do not mourn the melting of an ice cube, yet that event is the death of the ice and the birth of the water. You do not mourn because you understand it is just water changing state. And at the same time, yes, it is sad that much life will be transformed in this way by this event. It doesn't have to be this way. It is not as it should be. It just is. You cannot change what is, and yet what is will change as a result of you. You can't change what is, and yet you can and do change what is. It is tricky to speak of these things because the same words have vastly different meaning. You, in your human form, cannot stop this oil leak. You do not have the skill to dive 1 mile under the ocean and plug this well. You do not have the telekinetic power yet to seal the gap with your mere will and thought. And yet you alone, better written as all one, can. You are a hologram of the One, and thus encoded in the one human form is the power of the entire Creator. We do not say this so that you will feel bad for not shifting all that is in this very moment. We are merely reminding you that there is nothing you can't do in ultimate reality, in ultimate truth, and in ultimate practice. And by you, we mean all of you, each of you, every single one of you.